right, what's up, guys? I am Bologna, part of the Chicago Sports Bums, and this is day 3 of the 12 days of whiskey. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. The last 2 days, I was reviewing bottles of whiskey. Today, I will be suggesting bottles of whiskey that you could bring to your holiday party or give as gifts. Something that we've been doing a little bit on Twitter, answering people's DMs on what to bring. If you're not sure, you have somebody in your life that likes whiskey, but you're not sure what to do with that, I'll give you guys suggestions on bottles that are affordable, mostly affordable, but are readily available as well. I know a lot of the times all these lists that you find online sometimes have things that you can't find, whether it be the Weller, the Blantons, even Pappy on some lists. I mean, that's crazy. You can't find that at a normal liquor store. You can't run the Binny or the Jewels in the Chicagoland area and find that kind of stuff. So I have some bottles for you that you could bring to a party, you could give as a gift, and hopefully the person that you're gifting to is not going to turn or be mad about, So the first bottle I have for you guys is Michter's Small Batch Bourbon. This is a $30-ish to $40-ish bottle of bourbon. You could find it at almost any liquor store, grocery store, stuff like that. And it's something, maybe not as a gift, but if you're going to a holiday party, you're bringing something, this is a bottle that most people will not turn their heads on. I like it a lot. I get bunch of sweet notes to it. Obviously, Michter's is famous for their corn and their sweet corn in their mash bill. It's a $30 to $35 bottle. I recommend it to a lot of people just getting into bourbon as well. I get a bunch of maple syrup notes to it most of the time. It's super sweet, which usually means super good to people that are, just getting into bourbon. So Michter's Small Batch, 30, like I said, 30, 35 bucks. You can find it most places. Jason, shout out the HBIC, the head bum in charge. He also said that Michter's would be a good first bottle in this list. The next one I have for you guys is Old Forester 1910 or 1920. It's another bottle that should be readily available. I know when we went down to Kentucky at the Old Forester distillery, we fell in love with the place, and they're just putting out some fantastic products. I know their barrel strength stuff up here is a little bit harder to find, especially in the Chicagoland area. It gets scooped up the day it released and stuff like that. But these bottles are on most liquor shelves. The 1910 I had talked about on my first video is another one of these double oaked or, like toasted finished products. And it's another super sweet, low proof, easy sipper, if you will. And then the 1920 is your higher proof, more, gives you a little bit more bang for your buck. These bottles are $55 to $65 at most stores, but again, readily available. The next bottle I have for you, Knob Creek 12-year. Now we're getting a little bit higher of age, but still, this sits at my local Jewel, the Jewels, all the time. I could find it all the time. And it's a 12-year-old product. This, the bourbon craze has been so crazy that anything with a little bit of higher age is starting to get harder and harder to find. But luckily, this Beam product, this Knob Creek, Knob Creek is my favorite of all the Beam products, whether we're talking Baker's or Booker's or Knob Creek or just a normal Beam. The Knob Creek Vertical is my favorite of all of them. And this 100 proof 12-year bourbon, you can't find that at most places. So, yeah, Knob Creek, it's $70. Sometimes you can find it on sale at like grocery stores, 65-ish bucks. You can't beat that. You can't beat a 12-year-old bourbon for, less than $80. The next suggestion I have for you guys are store picks. For people that don't know what a store pick or what a barrel pick is, it's when a company or a store or a group of friends, even Big Star or restaurants in the Chicagoland area, they get approached by the distillery or they approach the distillery to ask and buy a barrel of a specific product. So I have two for you here. This is Elijah Craig. It is a Benny's pick, but it's their standard Elijah Craig product, 94 proof, but it's a private barrel, if you will, picked specifically for Benny's. Another one I have for you guys. This is a total wine pick. It's Stellum Lyra single barrel bourbon. Again, they're not going to break the bank. Obviously, there are some very rare, very highly allocated store picks, the Blantons of the world, the Eagle Rares of the world. That stuff is tough to find. But if you go to most big box liquor stores or even grocery stores, they should have some sort of pick available for you. And what I like about those, if you're gifting it to someone that is familiar with whiskey or bourbon, it's a unique product. It's something that they won't be able to find most of the time because it's a one and done kind of deal. Once these sell out, you're not going to find another one ever again. Obviously, you'll find another Elijah Craig pick, but not this specific one. So it's a very unique way to gift a bottle of bourbon to someone that's really in the know. So I can't recommend store picks enough. It doesn't have to be something crazy. It could be your local Benny's pick or anything like that. Most of the time, they will appreciate it. The next bottle I have is a Japanese whiskey. Technically, they can't even call it Japanese whiskey anymore, but it's Nika whiskey from the barrel. It is a blend of bourbon, scotch, and Japanese whiskey, and then rebarreled again like the double oaked process, if you will. And it's an $80 bottle, the most unique thing I've had in a long, long time. I was watching Carmen DeFalco's Whiskey Wednesday series. This was probably like 2 years ago. And he reviewed this bottle. And it was so intriguing to me that I went out and bought it. And I've loved it ever since. I'm usually not that big of a scotch drinker. I used to like scotch a lot. And then I dove headfirst into bourbon and never looked back. But this is kind of like a blend or the best of all of those worlds. It's got some Japanese like influence, obviously, with the Nika. It's got some bourbon notes. It's got a lot of scotch notes. It's got some peat. It's not a heavy peated product, but that's what's in my glass right now. You smell fruits, you smell honey, you smell all kinds of things. And I see this at most liquor stores, most big liquor stores all the time. They don't sell out. It's usually there. It's an $80 bottle, and it's a very unique bottle for you to gift to someone. So this one, out of all the ones I'm recommending, is something that I know if you gift it to someone that's really in the know, they'll appreciate it because of how different it is compared to everything else on the market right now. The next bottle I have for you guys is one of the Calumet Farms series, but I'm recommending them all. So Calumet 8, Calumet 10, this is the 10, 14, 15, 16. Again, another source product. Calumet Farms sources these barrels reportedly from 1792 barn. So it's a Kentucky product. It's an aged product. And these bottles just sit on shelves, at least in the Chicagoland area. It's an aged product. So you could find these, the 8 to the 16 run anywhere from like $60 to $160 for the 16-year-old. Sometimes I see it around $140 for the 16-year-old, depending on where you're finding them and stuff. But anywhere from $60 on the low end to $160, but they're all good. It's a Barton product. You know, it's a Kentucky. They're not like sourcing Dickel or anything like that. It's a Kentucky product and an aged product. It's an age-stated bourbon. I really think Calumet is doing some really good things with their products. And I feel like people just get slept on or because it's readily available. A lot of the times, I know I'm guilty of it. I'm hunting for a bottle. I'm always hunting for something rare, hunting for something you can't find. There's a lot of bottles just sitting on shelves that are fantastic bottles. And this is one of them. I, for the longest time, just didn't pick up a Calumet product because it was always readily available. I finally went to a restaurant, had it, was blown away by it. And I'm like, I was stupid. I should have probably bought this 2 years ago. So Calumet Farms is something for the, whiskey consumer, if you will. Sometimes gets slept on a lot. And then my last suggestion for you guys, the more expensive suggestion. And if you haven't noticed, I've been going from low to high, but I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning. Bardstown Discovery Series. I really wrestled with recommending this because I feel that of late, Bardstown has kind of been slipping and letting their products go a little more than when they first released. Bardstown Discovery Series back when like Discovery 3, 4, 5, 6, they were home runs every time. At least for me, they were home run swingers, home run hits. I have this last one here. There we go. This is Discovery 6. They're up to Discovery 8, and I know 9 is releasing soon. So they push these out pretty quickly. I still think it's a good gift. I think it's still a good product that you're going to spend your $160 or something, which is expensive, but the person getting it will appreciate it. I know Jason, again, the HBIC, he is a huge fan of most Bardstown products, and this is their high-end stuff, their top of the line, which I like because it's still, like I said, readily available. Sometimes you'll find them in like the glass cases section, or in the highly or the allocated section, or behind a desk, but it's still not something you're chasing day of release or worrying about them selling out. At least not where I'm from. I see these fairly available, but again, a really good blend of whiskeys. They blend from everywhere. I know the last batch they had some Canadian whiskey, some Indiana whiskey, of course, and then Kentucky whiskey, Tennessee. They do really good stuff with their blending, and that's what they're known for. Of late, they've been distilling and using more of their distillate, but they made their name in blending, and it's still a really good product. I can't recommend it enough. We'll see how. Maybe if I do another one of these lists next year, they might be slipping a little. I know I've talked to Jason about them and their processes, and maybe they're overcharging for things of late, but everyone is. The bourbon boom has been crazy, and people are just hiking up prices because they can't keep up with demand. But that is my list of gifts that I would recommend for a party or an actual gift for someone. I'll be back tomorrow with a normal review, and that'll be leading up to our special show for Christmas Day. That'll be the capping of the 12 days of whiskey. But like I mentioned in the first video, we plan on doing more bourbon content in the upcoming year. I'm having fun with this. We're still learning. I'm still trying to do these in one take, which is hard. I'm not editing anything. I know I'm stumbling over my words. Last video, I will apologize. I recorded that thing at like 2 a.m. I think I said no less than 500 times. I'm working on that. It'll get better, slowly but surely. So for now, be patient, but we appreciate everyone watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on the Bumcast Monday nights. And cheers, everyone. Happy holidays.